Welcome everyone to another episode of Steel Sharpens Steel. I'm excited to be here. We have a full show, but just to begin, I am Joy Stevens.
I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Jermaine Taylor.
And today's show is, I'm super excited, but I just got to give a couple shout outs. As you know, week to week, we like to keep things stirred up. So we like to keep it going. Today, 4 minutes before the show started, Anthony Turner already in the room, trying to make sure we keep on top of things, make sure we got our topic straight. Like, I don't know if y'all ready to talk about it, but make sure you know what's going on. Sam coming in 30 seconds before the show started. We weren't even able to show all of the different comments coming up, but everybody is in the room. We got some oldie but goodies. Welcome to Phil.
Hey,
welcome back, Phil. Elaine is in the house. Thank you to everybody for showing up and for being here. And you came on a good night because, as I mentioned in the promo for the show, we've got a special guest. Believe it or not, the Madam President herself, Dragon Kamala, is here today with us. And so I want to welcome Leighann Lord, also known as a very funny lady, is here with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me and having me. This is great.
I'm super excited. So just to give you all a little background, last time we were all together, I told y'all that we had just finished Dragon Con, which is a huge, we'll just call it cosplay convention here in Atlanta. And I was playing Queen Charlotte. And if you remember some of the pictures I shared, I showed you all some of the things I had on. And in some of the pictures, you may have noticed a person cosplaying as Kamala Harris next to me, right? And so that is the beautiful lady that you see right here. And if you would, tell us the story of how you became Kamala Harris for Dragon Con.
Okay, y'all, this was completely and totally random. That Thursday, when I got to DC, I mean to Atlanta, I was not planning to do this. I went to the Black Geeks of Dragon Con meetup at the bar down the street from the Hilton, and it came up that I look like Kamala Harris. And I've been getting these comments for the last few weeks on the internet, and I kept saying, no, I don't look like her. And it came up at the party, and everybody looked at me. It got quiet, like real quiet. And they literally looked at me hard. They were like, "Sis, you could do that." And I'm like, "No, I can't cosplay." But their energy and their enthusiasm, and their commitment to that idea was so infectious that me and my boyfriend left, and we were talking. I'm like, "Baby, can I do this?" I went right on Amazon. I ordered me a navy blue suit, some shoes, some $2 pearls. I made sure they got shipped to me in Atlanta and not New York. And I'm still half not thinking this is a thing. Comes to me because I wanted it for the we did the photo shoot on Sunday. I got everything on Friday, and I put everything on. I was like, oh. Okay, and then I thought, no, there's gonna be other Kamalas. They're gonna have the hair. I'm gonna look ridiculous, because I don't have wig skills at all. They were just gonna get these locks. But I put everything on that Sunday, and I walked out, into the courtyard, the back court where we were doing the photos, and I still get chills by the response that I got. Mm-hmm. I remember the first young lady that did a double take. She looked at me. She goes, "Are you Kamala?" I mean, and of course, cosplaying Kamala, that, not the real person. And I said, "Yes, I am." And she was like, "Madam President." And she shook my hand and she said, "Can I take a picture with you?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "Can I hug you?" I said, "Of course." And that kept happening as I was making my way to the stands. The people just being so enthusiastic. I started out, I'm playing. This is fun. And it was, but I was unprepared for the joy. I was unprepared for people, for such a positive reaction. I was ready on guard, like, who's going to
fight you about this?
Right. I don't have no Secret Service, right? It's just my boo, and we can't fight everybody. But the joy and the just the infectious happiness that we got to feel.
Wow.
In that moment. I had a dude run up on me. He was like, "I was looking for the Kamalas." where y'all at? I was like, well, I don't know where everybody else is, but I'm here. So it really looked like I was as far as we could tell, the only one who was cosplaying as Kamala Harris. And people kept saying, Madam President, Madam President. And I was correcting them. I said, no, I'm Vice President. And I had people look at me dead in my face. And they were like, no, we are speaking this into existence. And I was like, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not arguing with my folks no more. And so it was mostly, Madam Vice President. And I had no idea it was going to feel like that. And I had no idea what was going to happen after. Like the hair happened after.
Right. Because like if you'll notice, I'm going to put the picture up one more time. If you notice in the picture, she's got her natural dreadlocks here.
Yes.
And I will say, I stood next to her because I knew all the pictures was going to have Kamala Harris.
Oh, you were strategic.
I know that's right. You better
I was like, let me get
because they did hold me off to the side. The younger Queen Charlotte, she held me off to the side. She's like, no, Madam President, we're going to place you.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's right.
And so to stand dead center in all of that amazing cosplay gorgeousness, like I that's still a feeling for me.
Every video that you see of Dragon Con, like there's this one that's viral right now. It says, yo, when Black women cosplay, they don't be cosplaying. And she's right in the middle of all of it.
You might have been unprepared for the joy, but at Steel Sharpens Steel, we are always prepared for the joy.
Yes. I want to do this.
See what I did there?
Love that.
So that's an amazing story. And it comes in a season where the energy and excitement is up about the opportunity for a woman to be, and a Black woman to be president, and a South Asian woman to be president. And all of these things are happening in an environment where the GOP candidate is almost melting, like in that scene of Raiders in the Lost Ark with the Covenant is released and all of the Nazis are standing there and his flesh is like falling off his face and his eyeballs are popping out. That is what we saw this week at the debate.
Oh, that debate was beautiful.
Literally, it's the debate to end all debates because Trump has now said he don't want to do no more debates.
No.
Right. And he tried to spin it like, I won. Why would I debate it? Nah, bro. Nobody. Your own people don't believe you.
Because you were all ready to do a second debate with Biden when you knocked Biden out. That's why. Because you're a dirty, filthy liar. And it is quite obvious that you were destroyed. Fox News can't even barely spin it. And they're trying. The best they came up with was, it was 3-on-1. I mean, that sounds like your marital life. But
ooh.
So I don't know if that obviously isn't catching very much traction, and everybody on the Fox, the legitimate Fox News side, so Brit Hume and Neil Cavuto are all basically saying, look, it was a disaster.
Yes.
It was a horrible debate for him. And possibly, I mean, Kamala Harris had a bunch of one-liners. And Joy, I'm going to let you, and maybe Leighann, if you feel inclined to Kamala it up a little bit and get some of these one-liners that came out. But she had a lot of zingers. She referred to him being fired by 81 million people. She referred to his crowd size, which is like literally kicking Trump in the balls. And then she was just the faces. It was like what she didn't say was so much more valuable than what she did say. So what was the biggest moment for you, Joy, in Kamala-ness, in the Kamala domination, the combination of Donald Trump? What was some of the greatest hits for you?
For me, so I have highlights and I have critiques, and there's actually a video that I've got that talks about the strategy that she used when she knew that she was going to be hit with a point that was going to highlight one of her weaknesses on immigration. She chose that point to shank him with the crowd size. And then let me tell you what he's about to do, because he's weak and he's sad and he's got a small crowd size, all of that. And then when she said, and this person, this former president, everybody knew she wanted to say, this motherfucker over
Right.
here. And she's told us before that's her favorite word.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know she
With
wanted
an
to
AH, not an R.
Yeah.
And I don't know that was 100% unscripted. I think that maybe she thought about it and she knew that she wanted to pause. But I do think that she had to remember, don't say it. I do think that was a part of it. And she might have been wanting to say this sorry excuse for a man or some other euphemism other than motherfucker.
It was so
she wasn't going to say that, but I do think that she had to think, wait, hang on. I still want to be president. So I cannot say some of the things that I wanted to say that he could have turned into her calling him names. This
correct.
Former president, but everybody, you've seen
everybody
all the
knew.
The culture knew.
All the Samuel Jackson fill-ins about
right.
That. Yeah. But when she
knew.
And it was a deflection though. I will say that I really wanted her to speak to. She started off talking about the fact that they had a plan to address the floods of illegal immigrants coming into the country, and he killed that bill.
Yeah.
But she immediately jumped off of that and got into, and he's boring, he's old, and his crowds are small, and he couldn't take it. And he took the bait, and then we got to sit back and go, oh, look at him, look at this fool, which I thought was interesting. That was my favorite point of the night because she got him off his game, and he never recovered.
Right.
So what about for you, Leighann? I mean, obviously so many people were literally embracing you as a real live representation of Madam Vice President. What did you take away from the debate, and what do you think it portends when you're at a Dragon Con and the enthusiasm is so behind wanting to be with you and being seen with you? What does that connect with you in terms of the political season right now?
Well, it means I'm going to have to get more than one suit.
And more wigs.
And more wigs. This is about to step up to, this is a tax deduction.
Yes.
For me. We're not just playing. This is business. Because I've had people inbox me and go, impersonation is a thing. Folks get paid for that. Mm-hmm. And so one of the biggest differences that I'm learning is there's a big difference between cosplay and impersonating.
Yeah.
And I started out cosplaying. I'm not an impersonator, but because we are kind of cut from the same cloth, we're both light skinned, and I can, that's not hard. So those are the things, and that quiet way of speaking that have helped so far. I'm no way in any way competing with Maya Rudolph yet. Let's leave it open. Let's leave it open. I'm not trying to take that sister's job, but she can't be everywhere.
We could all eat, right?
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, but to the point of the debate, I'll be honest, because I was there from moment one and I was a little nervous for her because she seemed a little nervous. Like I'm sitting at my kitchen table, I'm like clutching my table going, sis, pull up. Like that shakiness in your voice is not going to do it, sis. But maybe she felt that collectively from the people, and she's qualified. She's a prosecutor. This is a very nervous, nerve-inducing situation. So that was my first thing. The not saying MF. If you listen, if you go back, if you didn't hear it the first time, her pause is the exact beat, the exact amount of time that it would have taken to say.
Yeah.
Because as a comic, as a comedian, I listen to timing. And it's like she said it in her head. Those beats were there before she went on. And I was like, okay, yes, very well done. Very well done. And I have to say, we have to introduce into the lexicon the phrase sophisticated side-eye. Because there was so much more face that she could have done. And we get dinged for our facial expressions as Black women all the time. So there could have been so much more. I even did a video going, these are the facial expressions she really wanted to do. Like, come on, son. But she did it. She did just.
Come on, son.
But
we need to get, listen, come on, son. I used to do that all the time. So I think we need to get us some little brown signs with handwritten "come on, son" on it. So we could just pop it up. Come on, son. Jermaine, we just had a comment come on screen talking about the debate was over when she shook his hand.
Yes.
Why don't you weigh in on that one? Because that moment where she crossed the central plane to invade his space was such a flex. What did you think about her moment there?
I thought it was a power move. I thought she was trying to pretty much assert her authority in that space before the debate had even started. And it was necessary for us to see that. Because like you, Leighann, I was anxious before it started. Before anybody ever got on stage, I was like, is he going to freaking pull a stunt? Remember when he pulled that stunt with Hillary Clinton with all the mistresses?
The stalking? Yeah, walking behind her and everything.
All of that was going on in my head. So when she did that, I was like, there we go. You are setting the stage. Second thing, I'm a big, huge reader of just subtext and human behavior. Did you guys notice how good his hair looked? I mean, he looked the best he has ever looked in a long time.
I was looking at her hair, honestly.
Well, but this is where I'm going.
Right.
He knew that he had to rise up in all of his flex.
A game.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because
he was less orange.
Yeah. Because there was reports saying, well, where's she going to be standing? She can't use a box. She can't be taller. She can't be this. All that was going on. So I would pretty much argue that he had professionals come in and just give him the best makeover that they possibly could. Is this 78 years old? And, you know, so he can just kind of just match her in appearance because, you know, she was already in his head. So I was just pretty much paying attention to those things before it even started because I just didn't know what was going to happen. I heard the shakiness in her voice, but you know, that's how we all are before we settle in. But she was feeling the weight of the world in that moment. There was no one in there, no one. So I felt for her, but it came around really, really quick. I don't know when it did, but it came around really, really quick.
Go ahead, Leighann. You look like you wanted to jump in.
Wait, you said there was no one in the room, and when he went and mentioned, you know, the dogs and the cats, I could have sworn I heard a gasp. So I don't know if that was one of the moderators or one of the camera people going, "What the hell?"
Well,
like, that's what I feel like. Did he just? And then they remember, oh yeah, I gotta be quiet. Let me just run this camera.
Here is an interesting note for the Sharpies. The female moderator is actually the niece of one of my mother's best friends.
Wow.
So one of my mother's best friends is Barbara Johnson. She has a twin sister. They were actually double mint twins in a print campaign in the 60s. Wow. Gorgeous women. So Barbara's sister is the mother of the commentator last night. And so, or the moderator last night. And so my mom's like, that's Barbara Jean's niece. And she's sending me texts and everything. So it's cool when things like that come together. And I think for me, I was almost filling in the gaps of the gasps because for when he did that thing, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people who live there. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was one of those moments where I think Hillary had said, and it had leaked that Hillary had said, you need to throw him off balance.
Yeah.
And then he will crumble. And I was waiting. And then when she said, let me take you to a Trump rally, I said, ooh.
Yeah, she's like, I invite you to go because people live out of
I said, oh, this is it.
I love that level of shade.
And he tried to, the moderator tried to move on. The dude was like, so I got to adjust the rallies. Let me talk about the rallies. I said, oh, here we go. I need some batter fries. I need a big Buford. I want all the rallies. Come on, bro. Just keep talking. Give me them rallies. I want a soft serve cone. I want everything. And he could not help himself. And he went right into Haitian dog sandwiches. And I was like, wow, this is everything I could have possibly hoped for. And you're right. He just couldn't ever come back. Once you start rolling down the hill, it was like John Wick in John Wick 4 at the top of them steps. And he just
now that's a reference.
Bop to boop to bop to bop to bop. My shoe. Bop to bop. It was just masterful. She was, and you said his hair. I'm sorry. That hair.
Oh, she looked good.
Was
behaving.
Hairy. Yeah. She looked like one of those Prel commercials in the just. just in slow motion,
Well,
and the highlights, and it was just like shimmer shangling and dangling around her whole face. I was like, man,
what is that the new AKAs are doing now?
Right.
Right. It was like good and bad hair, whether you ever talk to your fair.
I promise you, they crossing in Navy suits this whole season.
What?
Every probate show for the spring semester is going to be pink and green executive suits with they go march in with the presidential seal like this.
It's Chucks and Pearl season, y'all. It is Chucks and Pearl season.
Oh, listen,
and I don't blame them.
And I'm not mad at it. And I think that victory is not just for AKAs, to be honest.
No,
because I'm a Sigma Gamma Rho, and I've always been like, this is about the wider sisterhood.
But he brought the entire D9 into the conversation when he
sure
said something about sorority party.
Yeah,
that was ours.
With a statement.
Yeah, that was your boule. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, dude, and I was like, you just pretty much elevated this anger because you were talking about all of them right now.
Well, and let's not forget my Sans, Hakeem Jeffries, soon to be Speaker of the House. So it is really, yes, I'm sorry. Are there some alphas involved in leadership?
There are plenty of them.
No, in leadership, not just elected. I'm saying in leadership. Okay. Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, so where we are in this pivotal moment.
Wes Moore has been my frat for years, buddy.
Who?
Wes Moore, governor of Baltimore.
Okay, I'm talking about at the federal level in the House.
You did not clarify that when you said in leadership, sir.
Okay, well, we were talking about the House. But anyway, this is a pivotal moment, and I agree, from Mandela Barnes in Wisconsin to Wes Moore, who gave a brilliant, we already talked about this, a brilliant speech at the DNC, to the folks, the various Deltas who are already in office, Jasmine Crockett, a rising superstar member of Delta Sigma Theta, everything about Black excellence as personified by the D9, and this is an all D9 panel yet again. So
you know the Deltas, we love to roll it all the way back to Shirley Chisholm on you.
Yes,
oh, absolutely, and you would be well within your rights. So this is where we are in this moment, and what we have noticed, there's been an Ipsos poll that just came out. She gained 2 points nationally. So it's now a 5-point national lead. And we know that the national numbers don't mean as much, except that it drives him nuts. Right. That's how it happens. So thank you. I agree with that last comment. So what we have now is he has now lost a little bit of ground in those critical swing states. So he lost a little bit in North Carolina. He lost a little bit in Georgia, I believe. And so, again, the people are talking about, well, she didn't get to say much policy. Listen, most people don't care about policy. Certainly, if you're a Trump voter, you definitely don't care about policy because all he does is lie. So you can say, well, but he's lying.
He has a concept of a plan.
He has, yeah. Oh, I've got concept of a plan. That was the weakest beta male thing. And I know that the Trumpies like that alpha beta stuff. That was the most beta male thing ever said by Trump in his life. And they are literally saying that this was the most lopsided debate in the history of modern presidential politics. And he had so many debates under his belt that it should have been his to lose. And
you've been here before.
Yeah, he did.
Sir.
I mean, he threw it away with the cats.
It was so fun for me when I tweeted that she ate him up so bad, she gonna have to get her cholesterol checked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm worried about Sis's health right now.
Not Lipitor.
Right.
But you mentioned like people want to hear more policy and more things about our platform. I feel like that's just an argument people are just throwing away for cover for something else. Because the only issue that is left right now, the only single issue in many people's minds who are quote unquote undecided is the issue of wrapping your mind around voting for a Black woman. That's the only issue that's left.
Yes.
And it's the same double standard that I see all the time when I deal with corporate America. She has to prove herself beyond a shadow of a doubt. And all he had to do was not hit her in the face. Like that was the argument. you know?
But we are here again. Like, this was deja vu for me. I'm like, how are we having yet again another overqualified woman debating a mediocre man, the same mediocre man?
Right.
Like, y'all don't get tired of this?
Well, I think the X factor in this race, which is very different from 2016 when he was with Pence, is that JD Vance is a genuinely awful person. When you had Pence was solid. He looked like Grace Bannon from Johnny Quest. He had a flies loved him. So there were things that just made him very steady. He was, when he was debating Kamala Harris and, excuse me, I'm speaking, he was, no.
Right.
He's not bombastic. He's steady. He's very even keeled. JD Vance is like, 10 toes down is not enough. I have 42 toes down on cat ladies, and grandmothers are the solution for healthcare. And by the way, those Haitians are using sweet, tangy mesquite barbecue sauce. And I mean, he takes everything to 11. And then when 11 isn't high enough, he turns it to 12. And that pairing is super problematic because you're foiling him against Tim Walz, who is the grandfather every American wished they had.
Right.
And it just doesn't work.
And to your point, Tom, I felt like Pence was still inviting for those traditional Republicans to hang on. He gave them something to hang on to. They didn't care for Trump then, but at least we have Pence just to, give us some kind of, excuse to stay in the party. Whereas Vance, they just can't.
Don't nobody want Vance.
They can't find a way in with him at all. So there ain't
nobody coming to see you, Otis. Wait, you've had Chan's comment or Samuel Levon's comment. Can you put that back up? Because I wanted, so this is a very good comment that I'd like. Maybe you can take it, Jermaine. But he's talking about, is this the first time where we have essentially two incumbents facing each other on the stage? Because I don't think we've ever had that before, because generally speaking, you have the person who's in office, and it's been a long time since a person has been a one-termer.
Yeah, I feel
you
like
have to go back to you have to go back to Bush.
Yeah.
H. Herbert Walker Bush, and he lost to Clinton, and then Clinton won twice. So the persons he was running against, neither of them were Bush. And then you had George W. Bush, and neither of those persons, because nobody was eligible, Clinton couldn't run again. So this is the first time, I think you're right.
They've all been statesmen, like senators and what have you, up against an incoming president. But
right, because usually when a president loses, they go home.
Right.
And this one didn't, and he's back for more.
Well, they say they go home to spend time with their family, and family's like, yeah, nah, we good.
Right, because we see Melania be like, no, do not come to the house.
No, Donald, it's not necessary.
We just got the smell out of the furniture. Do not come to the house.
Yeah.
I'm not here.
You're scaring Baron.
Change locks.
She had a statement to come out the day of the debate that kind of like threw me. Did you guys hear about that? She was casting doubt about the shooting that happened in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, she's like, we need to find the truth.
I was like, is that really her saying this, or did somebody prompt her to say this? Because I'm like, when does she ever start chiming in?
No,
today of all days.
Yeah, she's not a chimer.
Yeah.
She has been incognito.
Right.
For real. Now, she's in New York, right?
Huh?
She's not staying in Florida. She's in New York.
Yeah, with
staying
her son.
in the penthouse.
Yeah, exactly. Wherever her son's going to school.
Is he going to school?
Yeah, he's going to whatever school he's going to. The staff wrote letters not wanting Trump to be in the White House. But I think it's like, is it Wharton? He's going to some school right now.
Well, that's Penn. That's Pennsylvania. So if
Let me find out, but he is in school.
No, you don't have to do it. You guys keep talking. You know I'm gonna find it.
Okay.
But one of the things I also wanted to talk about from the debate was even though it really was kind of who can get the other one off their game the most, clearly Kamala won. Because how many times did she just say something and then just sit back and be like, look at this, y'all? Like It was like that Kevin Hart. Look at this, y'all. Come look at this. Like she just sit there and laugh at him, even though her mic was off. It didn't have. I don't need the mic to be on to hear her say, "It's not true," you know, or no, you know.
Yeah,
and so the mic being off was ineffective because she didn't need a voice to refute his lies most of the time. Right. And I love the one time she did say, "I need to address this," was when she spoke about. He said this twice about us wanting to take everybody's guns. Me and Tim both own guns. Yes. So let's just cut that out right now. Right. Thank you.
And he actually didn't use
that she was a gun owner. Had you guys?
I'd never heard that before.
I had never heard it either.
That was news to me. I was like, whoa.
But well, she just bought it Monday, so she could say that on Tuesday.
Either way, she's a gun owner when she said it.
She's a gun owner when she said it.
Yeah. There you go.
And she said what I read, because you're right, it completely surprised me, especially her being from California, although I know she's in DC now. She said it was for protection.
Yeah.
And Tim Walz just hunts. So, you know, he's got the bona fides on that.
I bet when they first got together and had their first meeting, her and Tim, he's like, yeah, girl, you got to get a gun.
Yeah, go get you a
gun. Say you got it. Yeah. You know, I totally believe that conversation.
And you're right, Elaine. Many prosecutors do, because, you know, they are targets. They are going against the evil of the most evil in our community. So I would see why she would have a gun.
And Law and Order has been on television for 25 years.
Yeah.
And you know, you said something about her mic being off, but because those podia were so close, you actually heard her on Trump's mic every now and again. She'd say something and you'd actually hear it. But I think she fully knew, because she wasn't distracted. She knew, I need to turn to you, Trump, even in the split screen, and they didn't cut to a wide shot. You saw her looking at him, and then she'd look right to the audience. And this is what I'm telling you, and not what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you. And she knew it the whole time. And he was boxes. She can't have a box. They can't have notes. She can't sit down. But because they were in the split screen, they looked the same height. And so everything about it embiggened her, to take a Simpsons phrase.
She really understood, or her team, everybody understood how to use that split screen, because every time you saw his face, he looked like an angry, petulant child. And it's like, I was not alive for this, but apparently the debate between Nixon and Kennedy, where Kennedy, you know, had the right color suit, he was charismatic, and Nixon not so much. I felt like it was maybe a modern day, you know, reenactment of that, where like, dude, like who wants that? Like, I don't want angry grandpa.
No, nobody wants. Oh, the pity look.
Yes. Oh, the pity look. That had me. I was like, y'all see this?
Right. This is so sad. The decline of someone on national television.
Oh, baby.
Right.
Yes. Oh, baby.
A diaper and a juice box for him. We should get him some.
Bless your heart. You want some SpaghettiOs, Donnie? Can we microwave some SpaghettiOs with little baby meatballs?
The last time a candidate had a meltdown or didn't perform well at a debate, they were replaced.
They stepped down voluntarily.
Right. So maybe.
Karma, if you ask me.
Well, you know, the problem is, and I actually posted about this, the problem is they ain't got no choice, because trust and believe, the only reason they are letting Trump on the ticket is because he has an unshakable chokehold on the base. If Trump goes away, they are handing the election to Kamala Harris.
Yes.
There's nobody to replace him that will replace the 30% of the MAGA group that will completely fall away, burn the GOP to the ground because you crucified their martyr. Joe Biden is like, you know what? Yeah, so maybe I am tired. You know, I get to wear a hat and smile. I can put on a MAGA hat and give somebody a Biden hat, and they'll wear a Biden hat, and I'll wear my MAGA hat. Look, I'm gracious. I'm nice. I don't have to worry about nothing anymore because Kamala got it.
He went off the rails really, really hardcore at one point when he made this claim that even Biden hates her. I'm like,
yes,
that was the craziest thing.
I was like, where are you finding this stuff at?
He's thinking about texts from Melania.
Right.
That's what's like, yo.
So many people hate him. It's
it was really, you know what, we're joking, but it really could have been a projection because he knows that his own party can't stand him, and they talk about him behind his back, and he took a leap of maybe the same thing's happening over there. Secretly, he hates her because secretly everybody hates him.
Yeah.
But it's not the same on the other side. And that, if you think about it, once he got that into his weird psycho universe, she started coming out with, I want to talk about going forward. Let's turn the page. Let's leave this behind. I'm hoping change. She started bringing that rhetoric into it. At that point, she was very masterful in how she was able to control, as much as you can control nonsense, able to control the sway of that debate. You know?
I thought it was very interesting that the people that he say like him, the people that have said nice things about him, none of them were allies.
None.
I wanted to, if I had bank and we could do this as a sketch, I wanted to see, you know, the prime ministers of England and Canada and France going, the fuck? Like what about, like, dude? Like, don't nobody from NATO like you? All you can name are dictators? For real?
Yeah.
That
Orban.
was telling.
He is an Orban stan.
Yeah, he is.
And
elector.
So let me ask this question. And Joy, I'm gonna direct this to you.
Okay.
He goes on a friendly softball interview and tells people that we'll have the RNC in Caracas next time because it will be safer than the United States. And then he comes on the debate stage and says, if Kamala wins, it'll be Venezuela on steroids. So does that mean it's gonna be extra safe and better than the United States? Or are you just crazy for suggesting that the RNC should be in Caracas anyway? How do you have those two simultaneously disparate thoughts in your head at the same time?
Are you trying to make it make sense?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. You're assuming that he remembered he had that thought before.
Yeah.
Right. Well, he's used the Caracas line a couple of times. He just recently said that Caracas is actually safer than any American city, but he has used that as kind of a jokey applause line a couple of times, that Venezuela is simultaneously under the boot heel of a dictator, which is a good thing because he enforces the law, but also corrupt because it's under the boot of a dictator, Maduro.
See, these comments make my left eyebrow hurt. Y'all, I just like I can't get it down. It's like what?
It's stuck up.
It's stuck up. I'm sorry. I swear I'm not doing it on purpose.
Right. I mean, you know what that was? You know what that was? Now, when I look like, doing something on somebody's couch, saying that, yeah, I said that. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. That was Rick James all over again. Now, what I look like saying something like that? Yeah, I said that. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Speaking of drug abuse and Trump,
y'all have to understand, when you reach that level of unhingedness, you say whatever sounds right from moment to moment. And if you think that whatever you're about to say is going to land, you say it. That's how you get that they're eating the dogs comment. He thought if he had said that in front of his normal crowd, they would have erupted. And that would have tracked well in the ever eroding MAGA crowd. Because even though they know it's not true, it would have been funny to them and they would have clapped for that. It didn't ride well in a serious debate. And when it's silent in the room and only serious people are listening, and you're being refuted and fact checked in the moment, which he didn't want to have happen. Right. And they're telling you no one is saying this. Oh, they're ashamed to say it. First of all, if somebody ate my dog, I'm going to be posting full page ads. I'm going to be telling you somebody ate my, look at this, somebody ate my dog. And they're the one video that anybody can find, it ain't got nothing to do with immigrants, right? Yeah. It's an old beef going back between two families, two cities or whatever, has nothing to do with immigration at all. And they've taken that and try to repurpose it to fit some weird narrative to try to make people afraid of Haitian immigrants. All of it is really freaking stupid. And once again, so I'm going to say something that sounds disjointed, but did you know that during the Boston Tea Party for the American Revolution, they dressed up as Indians?
Yes.
Because they always trying to blame some shit they do
on some brown people.
on some brown people.
Yes.
That wasn't misdirection. That was you were weaving.
Yeah.
Yes, here we are again. I'm
that-
gonna say something ain't got nothing to do with brown people, but if we get caught, I'm gonna blame them for it, right? Just like that woman that claimed that some black guy stole her car and drowned her kids. They do this all the time, right? But going back to it, saying that they're eating the dogs and trying to make it seem like it's some kind of epidemic or whatever, that would have played well in front of his normal audience. And he doesn't know how to change. That is the crux of who he is. He doesn't know how to change. All he has is his same, as Kamala said, his same tired rhetoric that has exhausted people and bored them. That's why they leave his rallies. And because it was true, that's why he lost his shit when she said it. Because he couldn't take facing the truth. No narcissist can. And that's why he was done. The moment she said that, she won that debate.
Oh, it was a wrap.
The moment for me that, I mean, it's all been a wrap from day one.
That was a dog thing. Yeah.
When he was asked what he thought he could have done better or what he had done wrong for the January 6th insurrection, and it was nothing. Like, dude, I can't have my president not be a grown-ass man who cannot take responsibility for his actions. I mean, we would never expect this from him, but yo, this was your moment.
And all he could say was Nancy Pelosi. Really, dude?
Right. You still pointing fingers like a child. We don't let children do this.
Right.
Well, if I may make an ill-timed dad joke, he wasn't tanning on business.
Boo!
I told you it was a dad joke. So Chan, you made a comment. We addressed this on the show a couple of weeks back, probably 3 weeks back, when we were talking about how he's always on Hannibal Lecter, and he doesn't know the difference between mental asylum and asylum seekers, and so that's where the confluence of those two things are going. So he's saying, Hannibal Lecter, he'd love to have you for dinner, because he was from a mental asylum. And all of the asylum seekers, he's thinking asylum seekers are people who've escaped from mental asylums.
Wow.
And that's why he's saying these Haitian immigrants, they're criminals. And there's a piece on NPR, actually, that went to that town. And one of the dudes who runs a plant there, he's like, about 10% of our workforce, it's about 30 people, are these Haitian immigrants. He said, I'd love 30 more. Because they show up on time, they get their quotas done. If they need to work longer to meet their production quotas, they do it, and they don't call out. They're here to work.
Sac-passe.
Right? And they go to a church, and the guy's like, we lost 20,000 people in this town. The pews were empty. But these Haitians, they're here. They're coming to church.
It was early on during the debate where I think David Muir asked him the question about that whole mass deportation of the immigrants and how he would actually carry that out. And he had no plan whatsoever. And just ideally, it's just something you really can't do to begin with.
Right.
I mean, it would implode our economy almost overnight.
Yeah.
Oh,
like, what
absolutely.
Are you gonna do? Knock on doors. And then he mentioned like local police would do it. So he just has all of these ideas that are just so really hype for the people, but they're just not making any sense as to how viable they really are.
Well, and it's just like the tariff plan.
Concept.
Right. Yeah. Well, the 10% tariff and a 60% tariff on goods coming from China.
Yeah.
Bruh, are you kidding? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
He went to Wharton?
Well, not the.
Okay,
I mean, he was at Wharton.
Okay, that's different.
But it wasn't the Wharton graduate school that is of acclaim. It was the Wharton. He took classes in a building that had Wharton on it, but he wasn't admitted into Wharton grad.
And there was a frog in the building in Atlanta. He had a wart on his hand.
He was like that old school brother that never graduated, that wore letters and just hung around the yard.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, there was a dude at FAMU like that who was there.
He got all the shirts.
He was there like 3 years before I got on the yard and was still there when I left.
Listen, there was a dude that I was a big spades player in college, and this dude
Hey.
yes, listen, I don't know how I graduated. It was I played spades every day. There was a dude who played spades every day. I was 3 years into my college career before I was like, you don't go here? He actually worked at the post office across the street, and I have no idea how, because he was always at the student center playing spades.
Every campus has one.
Every campus.
That is hilarious. I'm on a break.
A 3-year break.
Let me run the table while I'm supposed to be at work. Wow.
Miss Jenkins gonna get her mail. Don't worry about it, girl. Come on, let's get this Boston.
She said, "You don't go there."
I was,
So
I was
think
so young.
The most important question, Leighann: Joker, Joker, Deuce, Deuce.
Oh yes.
Okay, thank you. All right.
We're good. Oh yeah. No, we define our terms before we get on the table and feelings get hurt. Joker, Joker, Deuce, Deuce. Yes.
You do sandbag?
I don't like to, because I am a classic underbidder. That is my weakness. And so I'm working on that. So I would rather not, but that keeps me correctly assessing my hand.
Wait, hang on. I'm not doing my job over here. So there's some comments that I think we need to get to. This first one. Trump was so embarrassed. I think he would have physically fought Kamala if he could. He would have lost that fight too.
Yup.
I think,
and I've seen those memes too of her standing over him like Muhammad Ali.
Yes. She would have taken that pump,
baby,
like in Single White Female, and jab him right in the eye.
Yeah, you know she got.
I would like to think in that case it really would have been 3-on-1, because those two moderators, like, we had to fact check you too many times. It would have been like, let me take this earpiece out and join you, okay?
Speaking of earpieces, did you all see that foolishness that some company in Kickstarter has not a hearing aid, an earbud that looks like a pearl earring?
Yeah.
And because Kamala Harris had a pearl earring, they were saying that she had a prototype of the earbud and it was feeding her answers and some foolishness. She just kicked your ass. Right. That's all it is. She kicked your ass and she looked amazing doing it, and you melted down, and she ended up looking presidential. Nobody cared about the policy. Everybody cared that you looked like a ridiculous child, and she owned you, and she looked like she was capable and ready to run the country, and you didn't. That's all that anybody cared about. That's why they're saying it was a win. Period.
Right, and that's that conspiracy theory nonsense. That is standard cognitive dissonance. I don't want to hear what you're saying, so I'm gonna just make up something. She had a prototype. It wouldn't have been in her ear, but anyway, prototype pearl earring to get the questions. But she didn't need.
I know these folks ain't talking about problems with somebody's ear.
That's healed completely, no scars.
Right.
His ear was played by Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool, right? Because as soon as that fragment, it said bloop, and we were done. It grew right back. The lobe, the upper lobe.
Wait, what'd you say, Jermaine?
The whole 9th month abortion thing, where did that come from? Like, because it's like it's out there all the time.
Yeah. Well, he's putting it out there more than anybody. And because he put it out there, everybody in the MAGA circle is echoing it, but it's not a real thing.
No.
Which is why I am so glad babies cannot be murdered after birth. That's not legal in any state.
Right. Well, it's called a mass shooting is what that is. But
I mean, except for the 78-year term abortion that Kamala Harris produced.
One of my favorite memes.
I was that's the only super duper extra late term abortion I've ever seen, and that was live
because she straight murdered him on live television.
I mean,
a dead body.
I mean, y'all, I don't know if y'all heard this, but if you listened really close, you could hear them playing taps.
She said, "I see orange people." Yeah, it was. it was amazing, but it wasn't the only news. We had some people who were asking us questions about some things, specifically dealing with some of the developments in the court cases today. And there was also a super racist, super ugly tweet. Do we want to just go ahead, Joy?
Before we do that, if we're going to get off the debate, I do want to we do have some short video of what the vice president looked like after she won the debate. Hang on one second.
I do it win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Up, down, cause all I do is win. If you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Oh, not with the wipe. You better have the diagonal wipe. Come on now.
He said, I'm not Kamala, but I still approve this message.
I was going for John Cena, like, you can't see me.
So, Sharpies, if for no other reason than to make sure that Leighann gets unlimited bookings starting on January 21st, go and vote Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for president, please. We are going to get Leighann her very own Tyler Perry mansion from all the work she's going to be doing as an impersonator, because you are the one. You are, I got to tell you, they tried Ego Nwodum being Michelle Obama and stuff. You that one, though. You need to send a tape to Lauren Michaels for real, for real.
Oh, when I tell you I had to do a double take, so just to show you, like, once you got that full like silk press wig on, so here's a picture of Kamala, and here's a picture of you, like you doing
right.
the thing, okay?
Right.
I took this screenshot because it caught me off guard because I had to double check on my Instagram feed. This was my Instagram feed, like I had to make sure which one I was looking at.
Seriously.
Wow.
Low key, like, not trying to give you career advice or anything, but if you started reproducing some of her iconic, if you started reproducing some of her poses, I bet you, and put them on IG, I bet you Google would start indexing you.
That is the cover of the videos that I do. It's the yes.
So Phil, right, you need
get you
to
some jeans and a blazer and do little marches.
Yeah, you would not be the first person that SNL has hired just because you're impersonating a president. Trust and believe. Go on ahead and get that money.
Maya's good. She be doing other stuff. She
Maya, listen.
Look,
Maya's reproducing her mama's album covers.
She is.
Right. And you are in the right space to kill it. Just you got it. So speaking of Kamala, speaking of her, upcoming occupancy of the White House, there is a overly Botox, Restylane injected heifer named Laura Loomer, who is about the most vile person I have seen on X, formerly known as Twitter. She makes Ann Coulter look like Mother Teresa. This is how vile she is. And so she put a tweet out that was so offensive that Marjorie Taylor Greene said, "Girl,
with her,
you racist as hell."
Right.
So this is the first part of the tweet. She says, if Kamala Harris wins, the White House will smell like curry, and White House speeches will be facilitated via a call center, and the American people will only be able to convey their feedback through a customer satisfaction survey at the end of the call that nobody will understand. That's a blue check in X with Laura Loomer. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, butch body, beach blonde, bad built. This is appalling and extremely racist. Pot meet kettle. It does not represent who we are as Republicans or MAGA. It absolutely does. This does not represent President Trump. Tell that to him because she's riding on the plane with him. And this type of behavior should not be tolerated ever, especially by the standard bearer of the GOP. At Laura Loomer should take this down. Now, of course, Laura Loomer didn't take it down. And not only did she not take it down, she pulled out receipts and was like, but girl, weren't you asking me to pull up dirt on who Kevin McCarthy was sleeping with? Oh.
Ooh.
So Laura said, "Bow!" Like, you gonna tell me to take this down? How about I take you down? And this is what Marjorie said. Little bit of history. We used to be friends. I used to defend her and support her, like in this post. I endorsed her first run for Congress, donated to her and fundraised for her, and then she lost. May have banned Laura Loomer, but you can't silence her voice. We are all Laura Loomer. So you go from being all Laura Loomer to she doesn't represent MAGA or the GOP. So which is it? Cognitive dissonance. It's a problem. And it's a super problem when Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that you two racist. So it's like her, Hitler, like, what are we doing with this now? The rank choice vote of the worst possible person in the country is amazing.
She's 31. I was just about to say that. 31.
She's 31.
Jewish. So this is an act.
And she's the picture I pulled up of her. She looks like
she's Jewish. She's found a shtick, and she's like cashing checks.
Wait,
That's what she's doing.
I refuse. Oh, by the way,
she looks like
New York University.
the wife off the Addams Family.
Yeah, she might
Morticia
be older than
Adams?
31.
She looks like Morticia Adams.
Don't diss Morticia like that.
I was just about to say that. Morticia, my girl, don't do that.
She might be older than
Oh!
you can put anything on Wikipedia.
I'm about to put her up on
I'm
screen.
just saying, like,
Good.
y'all can see that.
Oh,
Tell me she don't look like Morticia Adams.
Yeah.
No, hold on. I'll tell you what she looks like.
Yeah, she's probably older than 31.
No.
Oh no, I want to believe that because she looks a mess. I think she looks like.
She ain't said told you.
Yeah,
No,
thanks.
you were right. You were right. I think she looks like.
So she's a young millennial.
I think she looks like Demi Moore from Disclosure.
Ooh.
So she's already had work done.
She has.
Yes.
Well, she's had lip stuff. She's had fillers.
She looked like somebody broke her jaw and then put it back wrong.
Oh my God.
I don't like to bag on people like this, but she's a very nasty.
No, she's a horrible person.
Yeah.
She
Who
looks
hurt
like
her?
the antagonist
Like,
of
what happened?
Skyfall when after he had to take his jaw
She
out
was probably very unattractive as a teen.
and
Who
stayed
wasn't?
unattractive.
Not
Like-
Dark Shadows.
Ooh.
Oh.
Samuel, you are a treasure. New Sharpie of the year on the probate line of Steel Sharp and Steel. Ace Club Rock.
We got to give him a
It's
line
Samuel
name.
Levon solo. Ace Club Rocktail TikTok. Samuel Levon is bringing the heat. He is bringing the heat.
Y'all a whole mess. I love y'all.
Oh, and that completely unfurrowed brow is totally Botox.
Yeah, if it's not drawn on.
Kanye's jawline.
And
Wow.
again, it needs to be said. Brunette, severe features. He's got a type. Melania, Alina Habba, Laura Loomer.
Mm-hmm.
His preferences are showing.
Like a non-playable character.
Not an NPC.
Oh, see, I can't even. No, that's not nice.
Okay. She's obviously miserable. We don't need to continue to layer it
Before we
on.
go into the Georgia cases, can I just ask you guys about these Republican endorsements that are coming out? How swayable do you think they'll be with both Liz and her dad, and now Bush's Attorney General Alberto Gonzalez, a Texan, by the way?
Ooh.
Come on, Texan.
Do you think this is giving, the ones that are kind of like thinking about it but don't want to say a little bit more permission, if you will, or is it just one-offs? Like, where are you guys with that?
Go ahead, Joy.
So I think that we are seeing a shift. I think that as much as some diehard MAGA GOPers are trying to say, there's a whole lot of one-offs, and you get enough one-offs, and you got a fraction, of your party. What am I trying to say? Offshoot, halving of the iceberg, if you will. You got enough of them leaving and all going to the same place. That's a shift, and I think you're seeing this happen, and it does hold sway because what we've seen from the Trump party is go ahead, see if I need you sort of mentality. You stupid rhinos, you stupid Lincoln Projectors, and the Lincoln Project be no holds barred with their ads and stuff. They coming out punching. Savage. But there's always been, there has also been this group of, I'd say the hand wringers of, I don't really want to be a Democrat. And what has happened is Liz Cheney and now Dick Cheney, who would have ever thought?
Yeah.
But Dick Cheney in particular is an old school Republican. Very much I'm all about my money. I'm all about America. You know, I mean, he may be a dirty, you know, money grubber, warmongering,
friend face shooter.
Yeah, he may be that guy, but even he is like, no, not this.
No.
And to have him come out and say verbally with his whole chest, I'm endorsing Kamala Harris because this is not the time. Like I'm not a Democrat, but I'm voting for this candidate. Is giving people a place to say, I'm not a Democrat, but I'm voting for this candidate. I don't have to identify as a Democrat to vote for this. And it may not trickle downhill. It may not be a full Democratic ticket, but I'm going to vote for this person as president. And it's a denunciation of Trump in particular.
Correct.
But it also may be some down ballot halo effect. But I do think it's going to have an effect on the presidential race for sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, panel. It occurs to me that this feels 2 election cycles too late. It feels like when Romney lost to Obama and McCain lost to Obama, the GOP said, we don't need that old school concern. You can't deliver. And so they flipped and went with Trump. And now for Cheney to come, 20 years later, like, well, I'm a real Republican and da, da, da. We've left you. Romney is gone. Kinzinger is gone. Your daughter is gone. All of those people that might have been standard bearers or thought leaders that could push a constituency and bring something with them. I mean, it says something that the big tent of the Democratic Party includes a literal Bond villain and as well as AOC. That does say something, but I don't know that I'm convinced, other than the fact that it makes a good news cycle and it's another former executive from the White House, because we haven't heard from Bush. Interestingly, I'm waiting for Bush the Jr.
Well, he said he wasn't going to.
But no, I understand.
Okay.
And his vice president, I think, is and Gonzalez are the closest things we're likely to get as a proxy.
Right.
I don't know what he's holding on to, because you're gonna sit next to Michelle and Barack and kick it.
Yeah.
But you can't come out and say that, because Donald Trump certainly doesn't have any problem talking trash about Bush. Let's be clear. So I don't understand what he thinks he's protecting as far as legacy. It'd probably be more.
He might have dirt on somebody in his family.
He may, but I mean, Trump. There's so much dirt on Trump. I guess I'd love to see if, even if he doesn't endorse Kamala, if he makes a statement that is anti-Trump and what that could mean in Texas. Because I still think he's got some juice in Texas.
Yeah,
he does.
I don't think he would do something that he thinks would tank Cruz. And that's probably, I think, why he's really staying out. But that would be meaningful to me. I don't know. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
He's certainly tired.
Protecting your own peace.
Yeah.
That's how you leave office.
Is he older than Trump? Is George W. Bush that old?
They might be around the same age.
Come on, Sharpies. Hold on. I got Google too.
But my boy Phil is in Arizona. It says, I live in Cochise
78.
County.
He's exactly the same age.
Okay.
Yeah.
I live in Cochise County, Arizona, and you won't find more than 15 Trump signs. Keep in mind that this county is one of 3 that refused to certify the vote. So they went from refusing to certify to not more than 15 Trump signs.
A change gonna come.
Well, and Carrie Lake has tanked.
Yeah.
There was a time when she was considered competitive, and
Right.
Ruben Gallego, and probably on the heels of the DNC, that DNC appearance probably really upped his ante. It'll be interesting to see what the next few weeks of or
Well,
next
the
few days of
stigma is
polling.
finally caught up to them. People are beginning to be a little bit quiet about their Trump
Right.
support now.
Mhm.
Because to say that I'm a Trump supporter, to say I'm a supporter of the guy we just saw a couple of nights ago.
Right.
And that's quite, no, seriously, and that's embarrassing.
No, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's funny to me.
So
They should have been embarrassed long before this.
Yeah.
But some things take time, and some of this is psychology. You know,
Mhm.
just human nature. Once you've made a decision, you then double down on that.
Mhm.
Because now we're not talking that you've arrived at a decision through thoughtfulness and contemplation and research. This is some of this, a lot of this is emotion. And if somebody is challenging you, they're not challenging your ideas, they're challenging your identity.
Mhm.
So it becomes very difficult to say, I've wrote for this dude for so long, and now for me to change my mind, I'm gonna look like a fool. Not realizing you look like a
Yeah,
fool,
fool
the
anyway.
whole
Mhm.
time.
And that's why we're
Prince
seeing
Andrew, right?
a lot more of
Oh,
our
Prince, yes.
allies, because I'm noticing a lot more of my friends wear their Harris Wall shirts with pride and make sure that I see that they have it on. You know what I'm saying? They are stating their claim, letting me know exactly where. And these people I don't even know. And I see it mostly like in the community that I live in, because I live in like borderline West Hollywood, and that's all that I see: the hats, the shirts, the pins, the yard signs.
Are you
People are letting
saying
you know where I am? You know.
Are you
And
saying that they are trying to let you know that they're one of the good ones?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, how things have turned.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's becoming to be very obvious that they're doing so. And it's like it was never a problem because I've never worried about California. But now it's as if they've taken it up a notch.
Mhm.
You know, they make eye contact with me. I'm like, I
Yeah.
got you. We good.
Nothing make eye contact.
I know. It doesn't mean you're not racist, but I got you.
How about that? How
Yeah.
about that?
Right. And then let's also not forget that Taylor Swift finally came out after debate. People have been waiting on her to do something, and she came out and endorsed Harris and immediately got backlash for it. And then poor little Caitlin Clark can't catch a damn break. All she did was like Taylor Swift's tweet. And people are like, I'm not watching the WNBA before. I thought you was a good one, and you out here being political. All she did was like it. That's all she did. And
What
people
is
are
wrong with people?
boycotting the WNBA now because
Well, one of the things that's important about the Taylor Swift endorsement, and it was chef's kiss timing.
yeah.
But first of all, I think the message was very even, and it was an eloquent message. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, y'all, just go out and vote Kamala. She laid out everything in a very reasonable and rational way. And the thing that makes it clear that she felt forced into this was because Trump posted that Taylor Swift wants you to vote for Trump.
Mhm.
If he hadn't posted that AI image and then posted the fake Swifties, and he said, I accept, retweeting that picture and saying, I accept, she then had to come off because she couldn't let that thing stand as though that's who she was supporting. And talking about, oh, she's going to take a hit. She just had the most successful tour in the history of the world.
If she never works a day in her life again,
She's
going
good.
to be fine.
No, she's got J.K. Rowling money. She's fine. And she owns all her own masters because she re-recorded all of her records.
Yes, she did.
So that
Brilliant
she could keep
movie.
the masters from that dude who bought her catalog.
Okay, I have a question, and maybe this is, me shoveling it against the tide, but nobody on his team said, yeah, I don't think you want to do this. This is not a good idea. Of all
You assume
people.
that he listens to people.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, but the memes, ever since he brought up AI about the crowd size and Kamala's Detroit trip, it's nonstop AI.
Yeah.
He's tweeting memes now of kittens, save us, vote for Trump. We don't want to be eaten. Vote kittens for Trump. He's literally he's gone off the deep end. All he does is AI now. All of those NFTs are AIs. Everything about him now is fake. He hates fake news. His entire life is fake at this point.
All of this energy, we could have had a healthcare plan. All of this energy, we could have had a sane immigration plan. All of this energy, we could have addressed the housing crisis. What? He playing games?
Listen,
I'm sorry.
ChatGPT could have come up with an Obamacare alternative by now.
Listen, we're gonna take it back to Clinton. They've had since Clinton. They've been complaining about healthcare plans. Y'all could have been done, had something. I've seen nothing, not even a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Mid-Journey, I need you to suspend Trump's AI account, please.
I want to correct something here. Phil says most Swifties are not capable of voting, but those little girls that follow her have girl dads that understand the impact. Correction, most Swifties are in their mid to late 20s, and Taylor Swift is 37 years old.
I was
She
about
look
to say,
young.
don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
She looks a lot better than Laura Loomer.
No, they're well into their
don't forget, Taylor Swift
not
been in
older.
this game for about 20 years, and people that have followed her career and are still big fans of hers. She has continued to garner younger support. She still has young fans, but her main base can afford them tickets, and they are of full voting age and higher. They are anywhere from 18 to 35.
And their
Taylor is
mamas.
35 years old, right? Isn't she like 35?
Yeah, she's like 37.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's interesting how she's kept her material fresh and young to steady appeal to that really, really young demographic. So it's brilliant what she's doing. But
oh no, she's
yeah.
And y'all saw the Elon Musk tweet.
He's so freaking gross.
Isn't it gross?
What did he say? I missed
He
that.
said, "Okay,
I will
Taylor,
give you a
win.
child.
I'll give you a baby."
And
I'll
I
put
will
a baby
protect
in
your
you.
cat.
I'll
No,
put
he
a
didn't say I'll
baby
put a
in you,
baby
take
in
care
you.
of your
I
cat.
will give you a child, and I will protect your cats with my life.
He makes me sick.
No, it's really JD Vance, Elon Musk, Donald Trump are like the trifecta of creep. And it's like there's nothing they can do. Yeah, they had 350,000 clicks in her IG because she put the link in her story. 350,000 clicks in the first 24 hours.
Nice.
Because she had a custom tailor thing.
I see what you did there.
Custom tailor.
See there.
Nice.
Did you mean to do that, or they just come out of you?
So it was bespoke. So the last time she did that in the midterms in 2022, it resulted in 35,000 new voter registrations. So 350,000 clicks in the first 24 hours after the endorsement. It could be up, exponentially higher at this point. But those people clicking those things are not MAGA. Because she's telling people, click here and research. And she was very even. She said, do your own research, make your own choice. I'm voting for Kamala and Tim Walz.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. Fox is in a tailspin right now, threatening Disney. Oh, I guess you don't want people to come to your parks, ABC. And she's gonna take a hit. Taylor ain't worried about that. Plus, go on ahead and try to hit. I know Travis Kelce is playing right now, but he got a brother. Mess around with Taylor Swift if you want to. That was not his tweet, by the way, back to Elon Musk. It was not his tweet. But it'll be interesting to see if a tweet like that comes, because it would be hilarious if he copied and pasted that tweet and actually posted it.
I find it interesting that nobody doubted it. When it happened, I was just like, yeah, that sounds like him. I do think
why is it always the dudes that if you ask any woman, these are the dudes you would never accept a drink from? You would not. You know what I mean? You do not want to talk to them at the party. Like if you've got that sixth sense, you're like, no, I'm gonna go to the bathroom with my girls and then climb out the window. Like,
yeah.
You would never want to borrow eyeliner from them.
He's the reason.
Unless you're Laura Loomer.
He's the reason you wear a fake wedding ring to the party.
Yeah.
You're the reason. He's the reason that you have them little drink cozies that you can put on top of your straw so that you can't get roofie.
I don't even trust that. A left drink is a dead drink.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, true.
I drink before I get there. Because I'm cheap and because I owe them. Yeah.
I'm cheap.
Yo, we gotta hang out.
I keep my shit in the trunk. I might order one thing, but I'm not about to go broke trying to have a good time.
No, it's crazy. Things are absolutely nuts. So we are at an hour and 15 minutes. What else? Oh, we need to talk about those two court rulings today. One, I don't know that it's as impactful. I mean, it's news and it's anti-Fonnie Willis, but I don't know that it's going to make a big deal. There were two charges that McAfee dismissed from the Georgia indictments, but that's a sprawling case with so much stuff. He threw out the parts that had a federal component. Basically a standing toss. But there's so many more charges in that because
was it as a result of the Supreme Court decision that they did that?
I'm sure it was.
Okay.
I mean, that whole case was more or less on hiatus anyway.
Okay.
But I think McAfee just took the ruling and said, look, you've got these two things and they're federal and he was president. And so we're not even going to mess with it. You just got to toss that away. So some of the stuff, well, none of the stuff really, I guess, in the Georgia case happened after he was no longer president. But the stuff that was going, that really got thick into the heart of things was after the election. So he was definitely a lame duck. And therefore, it was no longer in his purview as a direct use of his official powers to do these things, because he was never a person who was charged with that responsibility. So the case will go on if it goes on. You know, God willing, as long as he is not elected, we should see some movement on that. The other thing is that the Second Circuit in New York, once again, it's like the fourth or fifth time he's tried to get it removed, but this is only the first time he's gotten to the Second Circuit since he was convicted and before he was sentenced. He tried to get it kicked up to federal court again, and they said, yeah, but no. And since Judge Juan Merchan actually paused the sentencing was going to be on September 18th. Now it is up to 2 days before Thanksgiving, which is after the election. The Second Circuit was like, well, there is no emergency anymore. So you can just wait. And we'll hear briefings, you know, later. And then we'll just keep it pushing. So that's the big shakeout. I don't know that I consider it a big shakeout. I was certainly a little bit upset for a moment when Merchan said he was just going to pause the sentencing until after the election. But the upside is that now, since he hasn't been sentenced but is convicted, Kamala Harris can keep beating that drum of, is he going to be in jail? Who knows if he's going to be in jail? He's got 34 felonies. We don't know what's going to happen because he's insisted on delaying the sentencing because even though this is a state case, he's thinking if he's president, he won't go to jail. But he's got those 34 felonies. 34. Oh, man, and that was another killer moment in that debate. When he was talking about the rise in crime, and she said, you get adjudicated to have sexually assaulted a woman, fraud, and you've got 34 felonies, and you're talking about an increase in crime rate?
Right. You are the increase in crime.
Right.
Right.
It
is galling to me. Obama couldn't even wear a tan suit.
This man got whole convictions.
You know, one other thing, and I want us to go on after this because I don't want to end on such a somber note. But one of the other things that I thought was interesting is, you know, they went on about, you know, what did he say? She wants to give transgender operations to illegal immigrants in jail, God. And they're eating dogs and cats, none of which could be. And I find it interesting the way that he would say stuff. They don't want to talk about it. Nobody's going to say it. You know, they're embarrassed, so they're not going to talk about it. So that he implies that if you ask anybody, they're not going to tell you the truth. Yeah. But in actuality, you can't find any truth because there's no truth to be had. But any of the fact, I think the tally was he told 33 blatant lies as opposed to one misinterpretation that Kamala gave as far as fact checking. But there's a viral video going around when they talk about, you know, Kamala saying people bleeding out in their cars.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to share this video because because I want to make sure people keep this in their mind, because unlike any video surfacing of anybody actually eating dogs or anything, this woman came forward.
Someone tracked down the women Kamala Harris says are bleeding out in parts.
Present. I'm right here. I had a 19-day miscarriage in Idaho because of the abortion regulations. I was turned away not from one ER, but 2 ERs. Technically 3, because I walked into one and they said they wouldn't help me and I had to walk out. On day 8, I went to the 3rd official ER that I got checked into, and I never did receive a DNC. They gave me 1 dose of pain medicine in 19 days. I continued to suffer exponentially for the next 11 days. I blacked out in my hallway due to blood loss. I stopped eating, so my daughter stopped eating. So I had to eat with tears running down my face because it was actually painful to eat because I was in so much pain. Everything hurt. But my daughter needed to eat, so I was not about to make her not eat because I wasn't eating. I developed a heart condition called AFib. It means my heart doesn't work right anymore. And it fucks up. So if I get too excited, too hot, too much in pain, too traumatized, if somebody yells at me too much, my heart fucks up. And so I have to regulate for my heart to keep active. Otherwise, I could have a heart attack and die. I have to deal with these side effects for the rest of my life because of abortion laws. And I can't control other people's actions. I can only control what I can do. But yeah, women are bleeding out in parking lots. I actually have a pinned video of me saying, they're gonna just let me fucking bleed out here, if you want to refer to that. But I'm present. Hi, my name's Carmen. You can Google Carmen Brewster and find the ABC article, the Insider article. Yeah. You can find a whole bunch. BuzzFeed. But yeah, we exist.
Fact check that.
Done.
And he's eating nuggets and being glib.
Right.
Well,
And that-
now he's eating crow.
That woman, mid-20s, maybe?
Yeah.
And
And
for
this
the
wasn't
rest of her
someone-
life?
This wasn't someone, for the rest of her life, she is going to have heart problems. And what did she say? If I get too excited, I get too angry, if someone yells at me,
I
she
get
has
too hot.
AFib, her
So
heart-
living life.
Pain.
Yeah.
And this
That
is her life, all because of abortion laws and people who don't even bother to understand the intricacies of everything that doctors have to do have created these political handcuffs to put on doctors so that they are afraid. She got turned away because the doctors are unfortunately justified in fearing for their careers, their licenses, jail time behind doing a procedure. A DNC means that once you've miscarried, they go in and they clean out everything that is left in there so that you don't continue to bleed from a pregnancy that has already terminated itself.
Or develop
Right? It's not an
infection.
abortion. It is a cleaning out, basically. She
Yeah.
couldn't get it done because that is under the umbrella of what has been passed in those states as an abortion, right?
That was Vice President's most, in my opinion, effective part of the debate.
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, she pretty much prosecuted that entire narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I even heard Republican women, that were pretty much towing the line with, pro-life. They weren't convinced,
Nancy Mace.
but they saw the passion in her with that. It was nothing that was performative. So she really made the case for that Tuesday night.
Thank you, Phil.
She also framed it as people wanting to build their families.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She
Talking
tied
about her daughter. When she
Yeah.
said she had to eat so her daughter would eat?
Yeah,
That's fucking terrible, right?
it is.
That's
That's not pro-life.
harrowing.
Exactly. That is not pro-life.
Pro-life.
Yeah.
And Shay said, what is it? How can she get pregnant again if stress and pain means her heart could go into AFib?
Right.
It's
How can
sad,
she possibly get pregnant again?
Right. But you tell me that you care about the life and health of children. Here's a woman who wants to have children.
And now probably can't.
And now probably can't
Because her
because she
body
couldn't
has
get the
been
help.
tortured.
And when we talk about getting the health care that you need, turned away from 3 different ERs because she needed, and it wasn't even about trying to seek an abortion. She needed emergency medical care. 18, she got 1 pain medicine.
In
Any woman will
19
tell you,
days.
when I get cramps from my regular period, 1 dose of pain medicine, fuck that. That's not enough. Give me all the codeine, right? And they gave her 1 dose
In
of pain
19
medicine.
days. 19
Passed
days.
out in her hallway from blood loss. All of this because she lived in a state that would not allow doctors to give her effective health care because some other person who don't even have a vagina decided that she didn't deserve it because God.
I thought you said you didn't want to end.
Yeah, is this the note?
Shit we never had on the show.
I got more. Okay, so
okay, thank you.
Because
Can
of
we
things
get
like this,
mad, please?
I'm gonna spin it. Y'all stick with me. I'm gonna spin it around.
Okay.
So because of things like this, and because of people, showing their whole ass, there's a growing movement. We already had the black women for Harris, the white women for Harris, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's these white women that will come on TikTok underneath a liberal post and say what you want, but white women are voting for Trump. And then there's women like this, right, who are like,
girl, who the fuck is we? I ain't doing that shit, so you ain't talking about me.
Down.
And that's why they want to shut down TikTok.
Listen,
that's why they want to shut down TikTok.
That looked like the Meet Me Outside girl 10 years from now.
Meet Me Outside Part 2.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
When I first saw that, I thought it was a voiceover. No, she said
that's
that.
Her. No, she said that with her whole chest.
Her whole chest.
Who the fuck is we? I've been doing that.
She sounded like she a sister from the hood, because I thought that was a VO too.
No, that was Glenn. That was Glenn Close stunt double.
I'm sorry. Can you play that again?
Yeah, you gotta play that one more time, please.
Girl, who the fuck is we? I ain't doing that shit, so you ain't talking about me.
Wow. Seriously, she is like on freaking Crenshaw and stuff.
Listen.
Like, you go to the barbecue, she already there.
No, she got your plate.
Right.
And one in some
and brought the potato salad.
Right. Talk about ain't no more ribs. You should have got here earlier.
No. Fucking Auntie's potato salad. Where's Julie's?
Where's Julie's
salad at? Julie!
You got the paprika on it.
Yeah. Girl, Julie, you know I love your potato salad.
That's everything I got. But I wanted to share that because too often, sometimes it is traumatic to hear. But I definitely thought it was worth sharing. And every time I see it, I want to put it back out there because I want people to understand that shit is real. It's not about it. Just because it didn't happen to you don't mean it's not happening. And I'm glad that because you can see it still hurt her, but it has to be out there. But on the same note, yes, who the fuck is we? I ain't with you. And I love that more and more young white women are coming forward and saying, nah. Granny got me fucked up because I'm not with her. Because although the 54% from that 2016 election is dwindling, and their daughters who are now that maybe didn't understand. Because I remember in 2016, I remember talking to some younger white women who were still of the mindset, I'm going to vote the way my dad told me. I'm going to vote the way my husband told me. I'm just going to do whatever. Or I'm not voting at all. And I wasn't able to catch them. It's part of what propelled me into what I do now. Because I was just corporate kid back then. But I realized they don't understand the ramifications, the long game. And it got me into what I do now. And now I'm seeing who the fuck is we? No, ma'am. No, ma'am, no ham, no spam. We're not doing this again. And so I'm loving the activism I'm seeing in this whole 30 and under generation of, nah, I don't think so. We're not doing this. And I hope it's enough to get us over the finish line.
I believe it is. These polls that are coming out right now that a lot of people are kind of keying off of and like making everyone in my family just on freaking 10 whenever they see one. I have to constantly remind them how underreporting these polls really are. They're not reaching us, and they're certainly not reaching Gen Zers, because Gen Zers, they don't even have time to even freaking return a phone call. If they can't text you, you're not communicating with them.
Right.
So and I tell my aunt specifically, because she's like, every time she sees a poll that's not in our favor, she just sort of panics. And I have to always remind her that we largely aren't included in those numbers. And trust me, watch what they're doing as opposed to what they're actually reporting. These people are volunteering. I'm working with grassroots democracy right now in LA. We have so many people we don't even know what to do with right now. And even in Georgia, I heard you guys have the same problem.
Yeah.
There's a millionaire in Georgia that I'm understanding who's actually paying people to canvass because there's just so much, disposable cash to get rid of. These people are eager. These young people are excited at this freaking ticket.
And they're excited because...
Go ahead.
That's another good thing that Kamala did during the debate. She's like, I represent new and fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she's in her 50s, she's like, or is she in her 60s? She's like, I represent something new.
She's 60. I
think she's 59. She's 59. She'll be
59.
60 in
she would.
November.
Is she going to be 60 when she's inaugurated?
Yes, she'll be 60 in November. Yeah.
Go ahead, Joy.
But I mean, that's the point. I mean, it's funny when you say she's young, she's 59. But the
she
idea,
better than Laura Loomer,
right? Black don't crack and Asian don't raisin. She got to come in both ways, right? But giving these younger people something to be excited about has been a big part of the galvanizing force. Because remember, the Democratic Party writ large was very much just shut up and do what you're told. Vote like we tell you to vote and worry about it later. Now is not the time, blah, 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 blah. When we had Joe in office, we were very much telling them, it's too much at stake and just do what your parents told you to do. We weren't that much different from what the GOP was telling them. They really weren't trying to hear it. And then when Joe made the great sacrifice of stepping down and Kamala became, the front runner, all of a sudden we see this groundswell of money overnight, volunteers, and what do we know what to do with, people telling their friends to vote, a flood of TikToks of I'm with her, we can do this, energy out of seemingly nowhere. And all of a sudden we realize this is what they were asking us to do all along, is give us something to be excited about. And she did.
If you follow their social media game, they are reaching folks where they are. They are coming with the salty. The humor is on point as well as with the facts. It is a beautiful thing to watch. It's like, oh, y'all get how to do it now. And that is exciting. To watch.
I think one of the things that's also a big difference as far as the younger population, I was on another podcast talking about this. You've got people like AOC and Jasmine Crockett who look and are in the wheelhouse of these young people, and they are getting the media attention. When Mitt Romney, or it's you've got John. Our Arizona senator, McCain, all of these older, white, stodgy guys, everybody who's in the mix is, Rick Scott in Florida looking bald and shriveled and crazy. And, but the people who are catching the imagination of the population right now, like Jasmine, who is Queen Clapback, and they appreciate her for being young, but they also appreciate her for not taking any shit.
Yes.
And AOC,
Tennessee 3.
Yeah, and the Tennessee 3, and this young guy who's the youngest elected the representative, the youngest representative in Congress now, and even Mandela Barnes and all these other people, these young people in their 30s and just under their 30s who are getting the coverage. It's not just about 70-year-old white men anymore. It's about young people who look like me, and they are making a difference. AOC was, among other things, a bartender. And so now every 25-year-old bartender is like, damn, if I just stick to it, maybe I could do something like AOC. And every sister who has ever clapped back against a person she ain't like is looking at Jasmine like, girl, can I be on your staff? What can I do? And so it's, to your point, Joy, it's very different from the, listen, you just need to support us because, and it's more like, no, I'm looking at myself.
Right.
This is my party. I don't look like those people. Those people are weird. Those people are creepy. Those people are scary. Those people are telling me my country is a shithole. And this party over here is screaming USA and waving the flag.
Right.
That circles back to the joy that I felt cosplaying Kamala. I myself, I've been on the planet for a minute. I understand history. I did not realize how much joy I was not feeling because of this election. How much I just went, okay, this is what it is. We got to vote, for the ancestors. There was, you know what I mean? There was no joy.
I was depressed.
It's put your head down, do what you got to do. But this groundswell, it is like, okay, this backlash gonna be something, but we're gonna turn up in the moment, and that's what brings young people. That's what brings energy, and that's what even re-energizes us. We the older young folk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
No,
Right.
you're very right, because it was a shot in the arm for me. I was like, whoa,
Yes.
what can I do? And I hadn't
Yes.
been dealing with Biden. So you're very right about that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
put
Good
dollars
news
on it.
coming
I
That's
bought
from
right.
suits.
CBC, guys.
She
That's
said,
right.
I bought a suit, put dollars on it.
But you're not there. You're not going
No,
there.
I'm not the CBC.
Because it's happening now, yeah.
I've been following all the updates.
Yes.
So they're pushing this huge agenda right now to push back against DEI, because you know they just got rid of that whole thing saying you can't hire people based on the principles of that. And they're saying, understanding that there's nothing under the law that says it's illegal or constitutional about using, DEI policies, advance their agenda and include more people. They're making pitches to these corporations who are kind of tepid right now about hiring Black people and looking, at things that would normally, they're saying that the law says you're not supposed to look at, but they're saying that you should now, because there's nothing illegal. You're not going to get in trouble. They're actually giving them permission to continue these programs. So we'll see how it lays out, this new year, but at least it's on the minds of our Congressional Black Caucus, and they're skirting their way around, these things that have been pretty much handed to us with this Trump fucking Supreme Court that we have. So we will definitely be holding our breaths.
Let me tell you something. I just got an article that I co-authored, published in the Professional Legal Institute's monthly chronicle, and it was called From Allyship to Abandonship. And we talked about how people, like DEI is everything, to I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. And I gave him a history lesson, like this ain't new. This keeps happening. It goes all the way back to post-Reconstruction, where the entire country abandoned us. Once again, how we've broken every treaty we had with Native Americans, how we've had legal legislation for the LGBTQ community that we've abandoned. Whenever it gets hard, the people who have the power to continue on just be like, no. And we laid it all out. And I've gotten so many. That article got published 2 days ago. I cannot keep up with my inbox on LinkedIn.
Wow.
Come on, Joy.
Right. Can you come and do a talk about this? Are you available? I'm booked out through March of next year.
Wow.
Right? Which is amazing. Just off this one article that I co-authored, right? I'm not even the only person on it. We got to talk in December. I'm going to Arizona, as a matter of fact, in December, behind this article. And so what we've seen in the news is all about public universities and colleges in a couple of states. And it seems as if they've put a quash on it. But that's the public sector. That's the governmental sector only. Private sector, companies understand on which side of the bread is buttered, right? They know where they get their money from, and they understand. Joy Stevens, legal scholar. Thank you. They understand who their consumers are. They know what the landscape of the United States looks like, and they also understand that they're trying to be a global entity. Most companies are trying to expand. You want to expand, you got to know how to talk to people,
Right?
And not just by race, by gender expression, by neurodiversity, by personality. Are they introverted, extrovert? All these kind of things. All of that is under the umbrella of diversity and inclusion. You get rid of one, you get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody got somebody on the spectrum in their family, which is why they hold on to it.
Right.
And I'm sitting here teaching people how to talk to their own kids at work. Right.
I mean, once you understand that in this country,
these corporations, and that's what they're trying to make them unscared of. The lawsuits that would come against them. Well, I didn't get hired because I was Black, so I'm going to bring up this lawsuit, and we're going to, take some money out of them just because they didn't hire me. And that's what it's more so about, because we live in a very litigious society, and you can always claim that I didn't get this because I'm the white guy who applied. They hired the Black person, and they can use the Supreme Court standing as justification for that. So.
Go ahead, Leighann.
No, I was just going to say, once you understand that you are not a minority, but part of the global majority.
Yes.
I love that.
I think that's what frightens, especially if you want to be a company that works on the world stage. The world is watching. And this is why it's so important to teach history. Like, people think this is, like you said, to your point, Troy, that this is new. It's not. I remember when George Floyd happened and that wave started happening. I sat in my house. I was like, yeah, this is not gonna last.
No,
it's not gonna last, because there's a documentary on it. I wish I can remember the name of it. It's on Max, HBO, where they talk about at every juncture where America can make a different choice, whether it's abolition, whether it's civil rights, whether it's George Floyd. Every time we are on the precipice of possibly making a different decision to make this country fair for all, America doubles down on its ignorance, on its racism, on its fear. They instead of letting us swim in public pools, they fill the pools in.
Yeah.
Right. And
They would
so
rather burn this place to the ground, rule over the ashes, than admit that they need to be able to compete. And that's why they double down, because they all of a sudden the choice becomes, do I try harder on my own, or do I hold on to a system that makes me not have to try as hard? I'm gonna hold on to this system where I have an advantage, and I will defend it to the death, even if I have to kill you to do it. And
that's what this whole election is about: people that are afraid of a future like that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if we get health care, they get health care.
Yeah, but they don't want you to get it.
No,
yeah, that's the sticking point. It's like your hate is that deep that you don't want me to have.
Well, first of all, Leighann, you know that you as a Black woman can sustain much more pain than a white woman. So you don't really need the health care, because you can just grit your teeth, go back into the field and pick some cotton and take care of these babies later.
There's a whole book about
maybe it's the light skin, but I'm Gen X. I get a hangnail, I'm calling out for the week. Okay. I'm all about that soft light.
Oh no, you cousin. You definitely cousin, Leighann.
Rest is resistance, and I am resisting.
There it is.
Yeah.
So we are at an hour and 45 minutes. This is a consequence of Steel Sharpens Steel in the election cycle. This is kind of how we started. It's freewheeling. It's wonderful. I would like to thank the very wonderful Leighann Lord, and you can catch her at Leighann Lord on Instagram and at veryfunnylady.com.
Thank you.
And you are more than welcome to come back anytime you care to, especially if you bring a wig and a suit. And we are going to make this. Well, how about we do a November 6th election special with Madam President. And
we are speaking it into existence.
I am speaking it into existence. And again, anytime you'd like to come on, I'm sure there are going to be some more conversations and some more developments in this chaotic situation. I'm looking for a 13-point national polling lead so that Trump actually goes into a spiral and maybe even a K-hole and sit in a hot tub like Matthew Perry. So with that, I will say this has been an amazing episode. Sharpies, let us know if there are any other special guests you'd like to see on the show, up to and including you. I'm not talking about you, Chan, because you're never going to do it. But if there's anybody else who would love to be on the show, please drop us a line. Samuel. Yeah, Samuel.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're the Neo.
What are you, Gen Z, Samuel? I can't wage.
He's Ace Club Rocktail Solo.
But we welcome anyone who would like to join us on the show. But also, Leighann, you have a couple of shows coming up in sometime soon, don't you? Aren't you?
I do. I have my schedule up on my website, veryfunnylady.com, my show page. But yeah, this Saturday I will be in Worcester. Performing at Assumption.
Worcester, Mass?
Worcester, Mass. I'm performing at Assumption University, so I really have to pay attention to that set list because that's a Catholic university, and I'm trying to get. Yeah, I was raised Catholic, but they're not gonna like really what I have to say about that. So I really got to prepare that set list very, very carefully. And then I'm also going back out on tour with Funny Women of a Certain Age. We did 3 Showtime specials. I was shocked to find out that I was a woman of a certain age, but I'm like, okay.
Whatever gets me on the ticket.
Whatever gets me out on tour and performing. And it really is a wonderful show. It's, seasoned female comedians who have been at this game for a minute that the industry doesn't necessarily give its props to. And my best friend created the show, and she was like, don't wait for them to give you something, you create it. And here we are.
Well, that is amazing. You've been an amazing guest. And with that, I'm going to say, I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
I'm Jermaine Taylor.
And I'm Leighann Lord, Kamala Harris.
Hey, come on, Leighann Lord, Kamala Harris, Alexis Colby, Carrington Dexter. This has been Steel Sharpens Steel. Come back next week.